Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pause Podcast, the show all about Nintendo and friendship. And tonight we have a very interesting topic. We're going to be talking about, is modern Pokemon too hard? I'm joined for this discussion by my fellow Nintendo pal, Micah.
Yep.
And also joining us from Barely a Gaming Podcast, it's Eli.
Hey, yep.
Also, Eli's just been our friend forever. So we don't just have him on because and also because we're recording at his house right now. We're all hanging out here. So we don't have our normal intro and outro music. So we apologize for that. We're just going to jump into it. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Eli said in our last episode, was that in our last episode? Not a big Pokemon guy. So this may come as a shock to you, Eli. But
I'm gonna have to play. I don't think I've beat any Pokemon game, so
Ever?
maybe that's a goal for some time.
that's funny because
For
your
some time.
daughter's really into it.
Yeah, no,
Like,
really
super
likes
into
it. My wife as well is into them as well. I've just played little tiny bits of the games.
So
I understand that there's like this weird cat thing that is like electricity.
Weird cat thing? A cat thing? That's the thing is, I don't even know if you're joking because you didn't know what Ditto was.
Hey, that was an episode ago.
You've learned a lot since.
Yeah, I researched it.
Okay, well, I want to talk about Pokemon Mewtwo Tera Raid that happened this last weekend, 2 weekends ago at this point, and it is a doozy. So, in order to do Tera Raids in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you can, in order to do 7-star Tera Raids, you have to have done a certain amount of 5-star Tera Raids. And 7-star is, I think, the most difficult
So far.
and the consensus online and among those I've talked to that went through with this is that this raid was near impossible. You had to stack your team in a very specific way, and specifically to get the there's like a special edition you get for beating it with Mew. Yes. Yes, and that was the only way you could get it. So the the way to do it was you had to fully level up Mew to be able to do raids, and you had to train it and use I think in this game it's Terra shards that you use to change their Terra type to bug in order to defeat Mewtwo because psychic. So you need a bug type in order to do it. And you needed all 4 people in the raid to do that. And even still, with all 4 people doing that, if you are not using the precise move, I think it was Struggle Bug, you're going to lose.
Struggle bug?
Struggle Bug.
It's not like the weakest
There's one where
bug type.
yeah, it's something like they can't
I'm
hit
thinking of a
you
different
or
one.
something. I'm really giving a lot of secondhand information here because I didn't personally participate, but I talked with my little brother, brother-in-law, my sister, who were all doing it, and it took them multiple days of attempts, like tons and tons of attempts, in order to get Mewtwo. Now Mewtwo's a pretty popular Pokemon, right? Like that's a big deal. You had to competitively build your team in order to get this exclusive legendary. That's wild. That's wild.
I think kids nowadays are too soft.
tell us why, Mike.
Back in the day, Pokemon Crystal, do you know how I was able to catch Ho-Oh? I had to buy 500,000 max repels and go in and out of 2 different routes and move through the grass, hoping that the 2
Mhm.
legendary dogs, Entei and Raikou, just happened to be in that area. Using the max repels because it will repel everything except those two legendary.
Ah.
And then they would try and run away instantly, so you have to have like a haunter or something that had mean look. I think that's one so they
Yeah.
can't escape.
Yep.
Then you beat them up, finally catch them, and then I can't remember. You do something, you go somewhere, and you catch Ho, and it was a hassle.
Yes. Yeah. So they don't make you chase them down.
Nowadays they kind of make you you chase them down, but they have a little map that shows where they are.
Right.
Before you just have to be like, well, I hope I run around here for a while.
Well, they don't even do that at all anymore. I mean, there's not a legendary like that in Scarlet
Oh,
Violet.
no, I don't think so. That's been a while.
Now the legendaries are given out through these like raid events or just on the map somewhere. But
Yeah.
but in this case, so what the argument I'm making here is while the base game I think is easier than it was when we were kids, and when we were first playing like original generations of Pokemon, the post game is way harder, and it's been progressively getting harder to the point where it's like your kid wouldn't be able to get the Mewtwo. Like you have to like
maybe you underestimate them.
you have to perfectly train a Pokemon, and you have to know externally because it's not going to tell you in game like, oh yeah, get yourself a Mew with a bug Tera type. That was like found out and established outside of the game, and they just made it too hard. That's what that's the argument I'm making here, is that it doesn't make sense to me for the demographic of the game for these raids to be this difficult. I understand and appreciate there being difficulty for those that are like more hardcore fans, but I feel like we shouldn't be giving exclusive Mewtwo's away for that. I feel like everybody would like to have the cool
So you
exclusive
think
Mewtwo.
they should have to work really hard to get like a Rattata?
No, but it would be nice for things. I think things can have a difficulty scale, right? Like you can get cool Pokemon like this one, like this Mewtwo, without having to be competitive.
But then will it really feel like you earned it? It's like some people playing Echo the Dolphin and using the rewind feature on the Nintendo Switch to beat the game.
What are you
You
talking
don't
about?
really, you're not going to enjoy the game that way because you don't really earn.
Are you talking about Nick? He's not even here to defend himself.
I said literally 0 names in this potentially hypothetical situation.
It was just an example to give context.
Yeah, Andros now is calling out Nick for apparently doing that thing.
Wow.
Find
Rough.
him on Barely a Gaming podcast. It's one of the hosts.
So I just want to hear your guys' thoughts. This is the situation and the story. There have been multiple it's not just the Mewtwo raid. There have been multiple 7-star raids that have required very specific Pokemon builds, and your team has to have a very specific Pokemon build in order to I'd say this is nigh impossible to do with randos online. You wouldn't be able to do it like that. You need a full party that is all working in coordinated effort. And so if you get matched into a match with Mewtwo and there's like someone that doesn't have the Mew, like, well, you're host. And that just feels weird. I don't like it. I appreciate difficulty, but to the point where you were talking about Pokemon difficulty, that was on you, just you, right? Like just the individual game and gamer to be able to find the Pokemon and catch it. And it was pretty easy to figure out how to do it. It was just hard to do. You have to find it. It says, oh, it's running around out there.
They don't say that.
Oh, you just figure it out?
You just guess that it's out there. Because you can't
feel
just
like-
happen upon it.
I feel like they had like story elements saying like they're running through the region.
I think they just run off.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I don't even know if you see them. No,
Never
you do.
mind.
They
Never
run.
mind to my previous point then. But still holds true that you have control of the situation as an individual. You're not relying on 4 other people or 3 other people and a team of 4 in order to get the cool legendary. I don't know. Eli, you
Yeah,
got
what do you
thoughts on this?
think?
What do you
Yeah.
think?
Tell us whose opinion is garbage here.
I think This whole thing's garbage.
Just Pokemon in general.
Pokemon.
No, not Pokemon. No, it does sound like a little bit of an overcomplication of getting that getting that Pokemon, from what it sounds like.
I bet you feel real good when you get it. It's like
I-
you earned something. All your
Yeah, I
hard
mean, I agree.
efforts paid off.
It is nice to feel like you earn something at the same time, but I guess at the end of the day, it's like I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't be jumping through hoops to like try to get a Pokemon either.
Yeah.
It seems like it should be fair,
These-
like the
These type of legendaries, when we were kids at like Pokemon age, were just given out at like GameStops. You'd be like, "Oh, go
Yeah,
to
you have to
GameStop."
leave your house to do it. That's much worse.
uh, and now it's like, oh, you have to do a raid battle. That's like real tough. It's real tough. So you typically hear that that Pokemon games are they're getting too easy. They're way easier. But I think the argument can be made that they're way harder. No, no, I don't agree with that.
Sounds like you weren't a 10-year-old facing Whitney with her flipping Miltank.
Oh, I was.
Roll out.
Oh, I was.
That
Nothing beats Miltank.
Whitney's a monster.
Not only that, but in the story, she then throws a fit afterwards and is like, "Oh, I don't want to give you your badge. You're the worst. You're the worst."
She's the Mortal Kombat spamming the leg sweep character. It's exactly who she
It's
is.
so true. So true. Well, this is all I had really to talk about with the PAL topic. I'm sorry, Eli. This wasn't a very pertinent one to your expertise,
Oh,
but
well.
I think we can all agree that for the target demographic, Pokemon should not be like high, like I want to say like paywalling, but like stonewalling Pokemon behind you have to be competitively viable in order to get it. That seems wrong to me.
Then there wouldn't be any need to be competitive, really.
No,
If
the
they didn't have
competitive
those
side
kinds
is
of
for their
things.
competitions that they host.
People don't compete. They just wanna,
What are you
they
talking
just
about?
wanna
Those are
beat up a
huge.
really hard Mewtwo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. People don't want to get Pokemon this way. I think people like the competitive side. I think they did it right with things like the Battle Tower and the Battle Frontier. Do you remember the Battle Frontier?
I remember being Marky.
The Battle Frontier was like a place where it was all right. Now we're playing competitive Pokemon. It's not a walk in the park, but the reward was getting to the top of the tower. You didn't. It wasn't like, oh, there's 5 legendaries that are hidden only if you can beat 100 trainers through this
Maybe
tower.
I would have wanted to do it then.
I don't know. I would have been upset personally.
Did you ever make it to the top?
No, nope.
Hmm.
Those were hard. I'm maybe what we're really learning here is that I suck at Pokemon. I'm not competitive, and I don't want it to be competitive. I turned to Eli. Like, yeah, what do you think, Eli?
well,
My mama taught me if I don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at
There you
all.
go. Good thinking. Good thinking. Well, that's it. Wait, I'd love to hear what people out there listening think about this situation. Do you think that Pokemon is going the right route here in making these raids really, really difficult, or should we go back to the harder times where Pokemon roamed the region and you couldn't see them?
Yeah.
That would actually be really cool at Scarlet and Violet because you can see the Pokemon in the wild.
Yeah.
So
if
it
you
would,
could
it would
see
be,
it off in the distance, you have to like try and chase it
you
down.
have to like
That would be
chase it. Oh, that would
They
be.
need better render distance, though, I think.
Yeah, the game needs to be fixed first. But hey, that's fine. It's fine. It's a game.
It's a game.
Michael, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitch at Micah Prime.
You can find me at Andros1 on Twitch and YouTube.
you can find us on Twitch at BarelyAGP.
Us being you and you.
Well,
We're there
Myself and-
sometimes. I'm there sometimes.
I was saying myself and the rest of BarelyAGP.
Oh,
I was speaking on behalf.
it's great. It's great.
Not the royal we.
Not the royal we. And you can also follow the show. I've failed to mention that in any of the episodes this week that we've recorded so far. Nintendo Pals. Look it up. We're everywhere. We're on Twitter, X, or whatever that platform is called this week. And we will talk to y'all in the next episode. But before we go, I got to shout out our wonderful, fantastic Patreon supporters. What is this? My phone has opened up some weird apps. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, weird how your phone just did that all by itself, huh?
All right.
Am I reading these? Just the first one?
Alternate, yeah, and you read the first one.
Nick Lanoy.
Fedorable Will.
Monkey Thunder.
Madison Purple Riolu.
Lava Plays.
John Cummins.
Third Strongest Mole.
Cosmic.
Little Miss 7.
Tim A, aka Neo Prime 33, aka Nintendo Dead number 4.
Seth Sturgeon.
Liam D.
Ryan Reese.
Schlimtor.
Shannon Eno.
And last one from you, Eli.
Mute Dog the Gamer. And a special shout out to nobody else, since you didn't. You're not part of the Patreon.
And thanks to you, listener, for not subscribing to Patreon. How dare you? Go check out patreon.com/Nintendo Pals, where for as little as $1 you can support the show. And we are signing out now. See ya. Bye-bye.